Good morning, everyone. Eve here, emotional wellness coach and author, your host at Worthy Ready, the radical self image makeover for women ready to create a life they love. Well, I'm a Worthy Ready woman, and I've created a life that I love. I actually don't have a bucket list. Not that there aren't things that I want to do, but what I'm doing happens to be exactly what I'm doing now. And until I get new things that I think I want to do, I'm pretty happy, pretty content. And today's episode is all about, well, are you content? What's your life like? How would you rate your life? And if you were to create a life that you love, what would that look like? Today is going to be all about examining who prevents you from living the life that you love. Do you even know what that is? And when you go to bed at night and you put your head on the pillow, are you sleeping with the enemy? And is the enemy you? Because I can assure you that unless you are kidnapped and held hostage by gunpoint, you are the person that is stopping you from living the life that you love. You may be telling yourself all kinds of stories, all kinds of excuses that you make for other people, all the ways you convince yourself to stay where you are. And once again, I always want to remind women, mind the disclaimer on the banner part of this channel. I am not a therapist. I am not anyone advising anyone to leave people, or if you're in a dangerous situation, to give you advice. Please seek the appropriate support. I am here for women that want to come, that want to learn more and bond in the relationship with themselves. I am an emotional wellness coach. I've been coaching people for over 15 years now with incredible results. And I can tell you that I'm a woman who walks her talk, and I'm determined to talk you into walking yours. But this is going to be about taking responsibility for yourself and your life. So today, once again, when you put your head on your pillow at night, are you sleeping with the enemy? Maybe there is someone next to you that doesn't treat you well, that you don't like, that maybe you can't stand. But remember, there's also you telling yourselves lies, making excuses for them, convincing yourself why you can't leave, why life can't get better. I promise you, you are the biggest obstacle that is in your way. We have a tendency to be our own worst enemy. So today will be about supporting you in steps that you can take to, first of all, be kind, compassionate, and loving. Remember, in this radical self image makeover, I want to support you in seeing yourself with new eyes, with loving eyes, compassionate eyes. God only knows we've beat ourselves up enough. So we are going to build a no tolerance zone. No more beating ourselves up. This is coming with kindness and love for what we've gone through. And then taking steps to turn things around. I want to support you to stop lying to yourself and to take measures to begin forgiving yourself, excuse me, and creating a life that you love. I'm going to start today with reading a little passage from my book, Your Happy Life Realized: How to Stop Putting Others First and Yourself Last Now, because it so appropriately fits into what I'm talking about and will make the point more clear for you, hopefully. You don't sound angry to me. I've said this countless times to my clients. They share outrageous stories that are worthy of a Lifetime movie. I sit stunned as they describe events with a monotone voice and an obvious lack of emotion. I'm getting angry as I listen. Why aren't they? Why don't you sound angry? I ask. Very often they answer that they're pissed. but there's no indication in their voice and no reaction around what they're sharing. Meanwhile, I feel like throwing things across the room on their behalf. Most of the clients I support minimize what they've lived through. Their stories of abuse are hard to believe, and they resist owning that they were victimized by denying it or glossing over the circumstances. My expertise as a life coach is supporting people in deep healing by reinterpreting their journeys in ways that empower them. The intention is to get them out of their victim story. However, to move powerfully into the victor story, they must acknowledge the depth of their victimization and how it changed them. And this is what I would like to support all subscribers watching, new viewers watching. This is about recognizing what you've lived through, not minimizing it, and soon seeing the gifts in it, how you can use it to live a life that you create that you love. But you first must own it. And you first must recognize that in being victimized, it changed you. It made you who you are. It made you behave in ways that you do. It had you take on patterns that you're living in right now. So once again, at the end of the day, or the end of the night, I should say, when you go to bed and you put your head on your pillow, are you sleeping with the enemy? Are you the enemy that's keeping you from living a life that you love? So let's just go over now to some suggestions I want to make in terms of how to move forward in the process of creating a radical self-image makeover, meaning seeing yourself with different eyes, with loving eyes and compassionate eyes, things that can support you in getting there. First, you want to acknowledge where you are, what you've lived through, and without beating yourself up, with loving kindness and compassion, you want to soothe yourself. You want to forgive yourself, apologize to yourself. And believe me, that is a process. So for starters, if you were to rate your life on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being, oh, my life just sucks. I'm miserable. I don't even know how I make it through another day. And 10 being, well, you're living a great life. You love who you are. And well, you probably don't need to view this channel because you're already there and you're busy living. But for those of you anywhere less than a 9 or a 10, there's improvement. And it's not about becoming a better person. It's about becoming your best friend. And it's about treating yourself differently. Now, one of the things I want to support you in doing, a few things in terms of creating your greatest life. It's going to be up to you, and there's some main ingredients in the following recipe that would create your greatest life. One is you must forgive yourself and settle up with your shame. We all have shame around the choices we've made, about the relationships we've stayed stuck in, about giving people second chances, third chances, about just all sorts of making excuses for other people, all the ways that we've been misguided and conditioned to operate in our relationships that have in turn abandoned ourselves. So in this recipe toward living your greatest life, and let's just say kicking your enemy out of your bed, meaning you become your greatest and sacred admirer and your own worst enemy is no longer there. And if you're sleeping next to an enemy, well, you may want to think of getting rid of him as well. This is going to be about changing your life and making choices that support you in living a worthy life. So again, there's going to take a lot of self-forgiveness here to summon up the willingness and desire to do this. This is a really big step. It's not so easy to push ourselves out of the negative way of how we operate in life and to step into a new way of being. But I promise you, I'm living proof, and so are my clients, that it can be done. and very effectively. So let's get back to this recipe. You must forgive yourself and settle up with your shame. You must become radically honest with yourself about the choices that you make and the responsibility for owning them. Not to beat yourself up, but to learn that your choices matter and that you're in control of them. You must stop lying and convincing yourself that others are more important than you. They're not. And when you go in this priority order of they come first before you, not only will you end up resenting it, you will resent them as well. And then in turn, your relationship becomes very toxic. So, step number 3, you must stop lying and convincing yourself that others are more important. You must be willing to experience criticism, loss, and some loneliness on this path. Because I can assure you, as you view this channel and you follow my recommendations, a few things are going to happen. And I want to prepare you. You're going to be criticized. They're going to say to you, you've changed. You're selfish. You're not as caring and sweet as you used to be. Okay, so you're going to hear this criticism. You're also going to experience some loss because not only are some people going to leave because they can't use you anymore for all the things they used you for. No loss there, but at first it may be a little uncomfortable, but soon in time you'll realize you had nothing with them that was worthy of anything. They were just using you. But remember, the people that use you just to use you are because you're not good to yourself and you allow it. Okay, another thing to forgive ourselves for. Okay, the next step. You must work diligently every day to apologize to yourself, to honor yourself, to treat yourself like a queen, and to open your heart to receiving. You must start giving to yourself. Buy yourself presents. Stop telling yourself that you'll wait to get something that you've wanted for a long time. Allow yourself to receive from other people that are offering things to you. Start saying what your preferences are. You have preferences. And if you think you're super flexible and you don't have any preferences, trust me, you were taught not to have them because early on it was not safe to. So let's be honest here. Let's take off the blinders here. Remember, this is Worthy Ready. We're Worthy Ready. This is a radical self-image makeover for women ready to create a life they love. Now, the next step is this. After you've done these following things, again, I'll go over them. You must forgive yourself and settle up with your shame. You must become radically honest with yourself about your choices and take responsibility for your part in making them. You must stop lying and convincing yourself that others are more important than you. You must work diligently every day to apologize to yourself, to honor yourself and to treat yourself like a queen, and to be open and opening your heart to receiving. So giving to yourself, receiving from others. And here's the most important. You ready? You must brace yourself for a life so magical that you'll want to stand on your rooftop and scream to the world that we've been doing it all wrong. We've been doing it all wrong. Look around. Look at your own marriage. Look at your friends. Look at all the divorce. Look at the world. Look at people. Look at the division. Not so hard to get divided with anyone these days, huh? Right? People are angry. People are divided. Well, it starts at home and it starts with you. Are you sleeping with the enemy? And is that enemy you? because it comes and begins with the way you treat yourself. I'm going to leave you with this week. Again, once again, your happy life realized. How to stop putting others first and yourself last now. I'm going to share with you something personal and leave you with an action step this week. In my own life, I continue to forgive myself for getting into unhealthy relationships, leaving them, and returning to them. I now understand that then I strongly believed I could change people and that I had faith the relationship would get better. I imagined a rosy-colored picture and glossed over the toxicity I was living in. Whereas I once felt frustrated, foolish, and stupid, I now know that I didn't love myself back then. And I attracted what I believed I deserved. It took time, dedication, and commitment to continue forgiving myself. But I'm committed to it. And I'll continue this process as long as I'm breathing. To forgive deeply, I've developed a practice to support myself and my clients, and I invite you to give it a try. Now, once again, Your Happy Life Realized, this is available on Amazon. This is in the book on page 106 of the paperback version. Now, you're welcome to get the book, and you have a lot of things that I'll share along this journey with you. Or you could listen again if you don't feel like purchasing the book. You could listen to this video as many times as you want and then take notes. But here is a recommended practice to support you. Make 2 lists. You could get 1 piece of paper or 2 pieces of paper. You could make 1 list on 1 piece, another list on the other piece, or you could put both lists on the same piece of paper, side to side. Here's the first list. It's entitled, All the Qualities I Dislike About Myself. All the qualities I dislike about myself. And just to give you some of the things I listed on mine, I'll give you about 6. I'm judgmental, I'm impatient, I'm critical and controlling, I'm insecure, I'm weak, I'm fearful. Now, I listed these then, and I'm going to tell you now that any of these things are not things I dislike about myself anymore, by the way, but we'll discuss that in a later episode because we will talk about all the different parts of ourselves and how they all play a part in making us a whole human being. But for back then, and for this exercise in you going forward, these are the things I disliked about myself back then. Okay? And then I made another list that said all the bad choices I made in my life. And here are some of the things I listed. I did things I didn't want to do with men, with jobs, for my parents. I allowed people to get away with treating me badly. I didn't respect myself or demand it. I hung out with the wrong crowd. I didn't take my education seriously. And it goes on and on and on. Okay? So there are those 2 lists. All the qualities I dislike about myself and all the bad choices I made in my life. All right? Those are your lists. I'm going to encourage you to list about 20 things on each list. I promise you, if given time, you could come up with hundreds, but let's just go for 20. Okay? Next, write a letter of apology to your innocent, wounded inner child to let them know that what happened in your life wasn't their fault. If you have a picture of yourself, and I suggested this last time, get a picture of yourself when you were young, somewhere under the age of 7. Put it next to you as you write this picture. Look at the picture as you write this letter. In this letter, let your inner child know that all these violations were done at a time when you were making bad decisions due to not feeling worthy, and apologize profusely to your inner child. Acknowledge the suffering you both endured and commit to making it up to both of you. Let me share my letter to my inner child with you. And again, this was written back in shortly before 2018 when this book was published, my first book in 2018. There's so much more I would write right now, but this is a letter that I wrote back then. And as time goes on, it's a good idea to write new letters. So here we go. My letter of apology. My dear little Evie, words can't express all the pain and sorrow I feel for all that I've brought your way. I can't imagine how betrayed you felt and how afraid you must have been when you felt trapped as a result of all the bad choices I made. I'm so sorry for all the times I've put you in harm's way. There are no words to sum up the sadness and guilt I feel to have treated you so unfairly for nothing that was ever your fault. You were a true angel to have given me so many opportunities to prove my love to you, to do things differently, even though many times I was just one disappointment after another. Evie, if you'll give me this chance, and I pray to God with all of my might that you will, I promise to make you the number one love of my life and treat you like the sacred, beautiful soul that you are. You're my inspiration and greatest purpose. I commit to know you fully and honor you every day for the rest of my life. I vow never to promise anything I can't keep, and start now by taking the vow to never again compromise or violate you by putting you in situations that by my choice are harmful, disrespectful, or humiliating. I promise you I'll stop people-pleasing and let go of the judgments of others that I ultimately took out on you until you were exhausted, sad, and hopeless. I look forward to a life of peace, joy, and happiness. And from now on, you call the shots. I won't make any choices without running them by you first. My undying love, your mom, Eve. And a major step in creating a radical self-image makeover is to reparent your inner child, to be the parent that you didn't have or that you needed. So once again, are you sleeping with the enemy? And is the enemy you? This has to change, and you're the only one that can change it. I am here to support you. I am sending you lots of love. Read the sign behind me. You are amazing. You are important. You are special. You are unique. You are kind. You are precious, and you are loved. So be worthy ready. And I'll talk to you next week.